Hi, I'm Tim Crum, founder of Animal Shelter Fundraising. I've helped countless animal welfare groups execute successful capital fundraisers. If your group is growing, you might be interested in making your way down this path. A capital campaign is an organized fundraising effort to secure a large amount of money over a period of several years and is typically used for new building construction, building renovations, purchase of new equipment, and/or endowment gifts. Capital campaigns are different than annual fundraising campaigns in a few ways. The goals are much larger, 5, 10, even 20 times larger than an annual operating budget. The campaign length is for an extended period of time. Most capital campaigns run between 3 to 5 years. Annual fundraising campaigns exist in perpetuity, whereas a capital campaign has a beginning and end and occurs once every 25 years or so. The number of people required to kick off and sustain a capital campaign is quite extensive, unlike an annual fundraising campaign, which can be done with, in some cases, one person. Capital campaigns require plenty of staff, volunteers, and committees to be successful. Unlike an annual fundraising campaign that are performed by staff members, capital campaigns are heavily reliant upon the organization's board of directors and key community leaders in order to be successful. Now that we've outlined what a capital campaign is, we can move on to analyze how to know if you're ready and what you'll need. Hi, I'm Tim Crum, founder of Animal Shelter Fundraising. Jumping into a capital campaign can be daunting and it can be hard to know how to prepare. The first step in a capital campaign comes when your board transforms ideas about the need for a new animal shelter into actually planning to fund the construction. This can happen in one of several ways. Your animal shelter is simply too old and worn down and generally requires a lot of human and financial resources to repair and maintain. An animal shelter evaluation reveals that the physical conditions of the shelter have deteriorated to such a point that the building needs to be replaced or completely renovated. Your animal shelter has come under scrutiny for its poor physical conditions in the news or social media. Your shelter has exceeded its capacity for care, handling more animals than the facility has a reasonable amount to handle. In rare instances, a major donor steps forward with a donation of at least 25% of the total needed to fund construction of a new building. If your shelter can check off at least 2 of these situations, then a new shelter is needed. If you can check off 3 or more, the need is critical. To see if your organization is in a good position to start a capital campaign, here are 6 factors and groups who have been successful. Your organization has a good reputation in the community, a well-known and respected board of directors and executive director, a case for support that addresses a need for the community, historical support from donors, funding sources from individual donations to foundation grants to business and corporate support, and a strategic plan in place to achieve its goals. You can use these 6 factors to determine what you need to strengthen in order to maximize your chance for success in a capital campaign. Once your board is determined to take action and plan for a new animal shelter, it's time to give serious consideration to having a fundraising feasibility study conducted. A fundraising feasibility study is a formal process to determine whether it's even feasible for your organization to proceed with its proposed capital campaign. It is absolutely critical for you to assess the likelihood of success for a campaign before entering into it. A feasibility study provides so much significant information that without the study, your organization could jeopardize the campaign itself. More specifically, the study will help determine how much money it is even feasible to raise, how long it will take to raise that amount of capital, the number of gifts needed to achieve the campaign goal, who has potential to make a leadership gift, who is capable of chairing the campaign and serving on campaign committees, how the organization is perceived by the community, the readiness of the organization and its leadership to begin the campaign, what the community thinks of the need for a new or renovated animal shelter, and those are the primary benefits of a fundraising feasibility study. There are also some great secondary benefits of a study, such as identifying your organization's weaknesses and threats, flattering donors and stakeholders who take part in the study, highlighting the organization's strengths, and building momentum for the campaign itself. A feasibility study can mean the difference between a successful capital campaign and one that falls flat. Capital campaigns generally adhere to 5 progressive stages that provide your greatest probability to achieve success. Stage 1 is the preparation stage. As referenced in an earlier video, this is when several factors determine the need for a new animal shelter. Once plans are initiated to build a new shelter, the board will typically do 4 things. Evaluate and strengthen itself, which may include expanding the number of board members through an amendment to the bylaws. Evaluate the executive director to make sure they have the right person who can lead them through a comprehensive, multi-year capital campaign. Engage in strategic or long-term planning. And increase fundraising efforts. Once the organization has evaluated and properly prepared itself, then it can progress onto the second stage, the assess and plan stage. In this stage, the organization typically will do 2 things: develop a case for support for the campaign, and have a fundraising feasibility study, as mentioned in the previous video. To proceed with the capital campaign, the organization will also develop a budget and timeline, and produce campaign material such as videos, website, and other printed material. Stage 3 is called the quiet phase of fundraising and is marked by a period of soliciting a select few major donors. This is done quietly and without much, if any, publicity. The quiet phase continues until at least 50% of the total campaign goal is raised. Stage 4 is the public phase of fundraising. This typically begins with a kickoff event to make the campaign public. Donors will now have confidence that the campaign goal can be achieved because 50% has already been secured during the quiet phase. Congratulations, you've met your capital fundraising goal. Finally, the campaign goal has been reached and it's time to move on to stage 5, the wrap-up stage. 4 things typically occur in this final stage: a ribbon-cutting ceremony for its newly completed facility, thanking donors for their gifts, hosting naming rights ceremonies, and working on pledge fulfillment. This may seem like the least exciting of all stages because the hard work is over, yet this is the time for the organization to really cultivate its relationship with so many donors. Practicing good stewardship with donors can further your success with future fundraisers and will mean your organization will be on its way to a greater legacy.